Hi, this is Siofra's Magic Alcove, and I'm Siofra Bradigan. So, since Mabon is coming up next week for mostly all of us, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, I thought I would share a couple of the things that we have done for our Mabon rituals. And, certainly you can use them or not use them, up entirely to you. But, so the first one that I wanted to share with you was charging up of the hazelnuts. We decided on hazelnuts because someone in our group was allergic to almonds or one other kind of nut we thought of using. So it doesn't have to be a hazelnut. The idea is that it's some kind of a seed, and nuts are seeds. So one of the things we like to do on this particular ritual is to charge up the hazelnuts with the energy of the season, the summer that has just passed, knowing that we're about ready to head into the dark times when the sun is about to go away. And that way, in January, for example, when people are feeling more depressed and are missing the sun or anything like that, you can eat that energy by imbibing that seed. And so that's the reason for charging up certain items, is so that then you can access that energy later. And so for us, we decided on the hazelnuts, and you put them in a bowl, whatever kind of decorative bowl you want to use, or a cauldron, or whatever works for you. And the way we put it is like, we'll be charging them up to take with us through the long winter nights to remind us of the harvest of the summer, to symbolize the inward turning of the wheel, to look within ourselves. Before we always thought the idea of doing a vine dance around the bowl was cool. We have actually never succeeded in doing a vine dance around the bowl of nuts. So if you have a larger space and more energetic people and you want to do a vine dance around the nuts, it's a really cool idea. We just never seem to have actually done it, even though we put it in our ritual. So, and let's see. And before we start the charging, one of the things we do too, if we have enough people, we have 3 songs that we like to sing as a group. We sing "We All Come from the Goddess," which is a fairly well-known song. The Isis, Astarte, Inanna, Hecate, Demeter, Kali. Isis, Astarte, Diana, Hecate, Demeter, Kali, Inanna chant, and then the hoof and horn chant. And the way we do it, we've decided how often we're going to do that. So we do the "We All Come from the Goddess" chant 4 times, then we do the Isis Astarte chant 5 times, and then we do the hoof and horn chant 3 times. And with a large enough group, you have 3 separate groups, and each group takes one of the songs, and you can sing all 3 of these songs simultaneously, and it's an amazing experience. I recommend trying it out. But however you decide you're going to raise energy, that is the process that we have, is using song and our voices to raise energy. And other people might use drums or bells or yelling or vocalizing or what have you. The point is you have a method that you use for raising energy for the purpose of what this is, and you keep in mind why you're doing it and what kind of energy you're putting into this, in this case the hazelnut, into the object. So we start off with the we start off with the core chant to get us in the mood before we start singing. And this chant is from Starhawk's book, The Spiral Dance, and it works really well for people to say as a whisper in a large group of people. And we'll print the chant underneath the video so that you can find the chant and not have to try and transcribe it as we go. But this is, her name cannot be spoken, her face was not forgotten, Her power is to open, her promise can never be broken. All seeds she deeply buries, she weaves the thread of seasons. Her secret darkness carries, she loves beyond all reason. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. Change is, touch is, change is. Change us, touch us, change us. Everything lost is found again in a new form, in a new way. Everything hurt is healed again in a new life, in a new day. So what we decided was, we, in this case, since we're not actually dancing around the circle, we sit around the hazelnuts and we chant that 3 times and sort of let our subconscious come to the fore and our conscious mind drift away, so that we're in the chant. And the chant is all about the changing seasons. It's about the things that are, the shift in the goddess and her energy and so forth for the year. And then after we do that chant like 3 times, then we do the songs to charge up the hazelnuts. And when you've got them all charged up, it's like, raising your hands up and singing and so forth, and then focusing those hands towards the bowl of nuts and visualizing that energy of the season going into those nuts so that they're all like that. And when we've done this for large groups of people, I've gotten those little organza bags like at the dollar store. You can get 5 of them for $1 in different colors. And I put the nuts in the bags to start with, so we have like a cauldron or a bowl full of nuts in individual baggies already. And that way at the end of the ritual, it's easier to hand them out. People can just grab a bag or 2 depending, and take them home with them. And then you don't have to, people aren't in there with their fingers and grabbing nuts and trying to figure out what to put them in and so forth. It's a good idea to think about those things ahead of time, unless you're doing it by yourself, in which case you don't have to worry about it. You can just put the nuts in the bowl and leave it on your altar. So that would be one of the parts that we usually do for our Mabon ceremony. And then the second thing that we like to do is the earth healing peace spell. It's a candle. We use a blue candle, and I happen to actually have a blue candle left from last year. Sometimes they're hard to come by. If you don't have a blue candle, you can always use a white one because it will work perfectly for that. And the idea of this one is you're raising energy, and we did it with using the tree visualization that's on our site as a group, and drawing the energy up through your roots and through your trunk and into your branches, and then allowing it to cascade in silver fountains back down to the earth, visualizing the world as a place of freedom, peace, equality, and plenty, and then putting it into the candle. So before you start that, if you've just gotten your new candle like I did, I sometimes forget this part, it's a good idea to trim the wick a little bit so it doesn't go all funny on you. And we use lavender oil to anoint it, because lavender is a good oil for representing peace, calmness, serenity, that kind of thing. Let's see if I can get my oil to open up all the way so I can get it off. There we go. And the way of anointing the candle is to go up and down the candle with the oil, and you think about the nature of the oil, what it's for, and what you're doing is you're sort of blessing your candle before you start. And if you want to, in some cases, people actually want to be more specific or help them remember what their candle was for, perhaps. And you can actually carve words into the candle, like peace or healing or whatever it is you want the candle to be about. Oh, it smells so good. And in this ritual, we have like evoked Nanu, for example. And so when we're charging up these candles, after we're done, the first candle is lit. The first candle is lit by the person who's representing the goddess for the ritual, whatever goddess you're using. And then the other people in the circle light their candle from the goddess's flame. At least that's one way. Or you pass it to one person and then they pass the fire around. So there's a couple of different ways that you can do that, but the idea is to share that energy of the goddess with all of the people and with their candles when you do it. So it's a really simple kind of thing to do, and then you can take that home with you, and when you're feeling chaotic or depressed or just in the need of a boost kind of thing, of some calm, peaceful energy, you light the candle and it'll fill the room with the energy that you charged it up with. So again, it's the same idea, is that you take that energy from the ritual and take it back with you to use later. And I don't need to use mine too often, so I always have parts of it left over. Like I still have about that much of my peace candle left, but when somebody requests some extra energy and that kind of thing from me, or healing energy, then I will light that candle and send them particular energy. So really, all of the holidays that we celebrate throughout the year are opportunities to do small spells, I suppose, would be what these are, that honor that day and that will carry you through to the next holiday or festival or energy or what have you. And doing it that way also allows you to get more into the right frame of mind for what you're doing. It helps align our energies to the season. And that's one of the things, like, for example, acupuncture is recommended when the seasons change to do the same thing, to shift your body energy so that you don't get sick, because as your body is trying to adapt to the changing weather patterns, the changing temperatures, the loss of light, and so forth, that's when we're most vulnerable to having something come out that's been hiding around for a while and wrecking our week. So doing this magically is a way of helping that process as well. So you can deal with it on a lot of different levels. So short and sweet. If you want to look at the Kore chant, just look on the video on the bottom. Under comments is where we shall put that. And if you have any questions, of course, feel free to ask them, and I will endeavor to answer any questions you might have. So this is Siofra Bradigan, and this is Siofra's Magic Alcove. So blessed be.